Doubles, nice to see you on this Monday. Let's start there with you. How would you rank, I only went to 6, you can go, how would you rank the quarterbacks in the CFL as we stand on July 21st?
Wow. First, I would have to start with VA. I think I made that clear that I think he's the best guy going right now. He has the most momentum, and you put the coaches with him and that he has. I mean, that gives him that extra boost. So I'll go with VA at 1. I'll go with Trevor at 2, Bo Levi at 3, and then I would go Nathan Rourke at 4, followed by Davis Alexander, and then I would put Zach Collaros at 6.
What would make you put Rourke at 4?
Just potential, I think. I think he's shown flashes. If you even go back to a couple years ago, the way he played, and I think he's shown flashes this year of being a top-tier quarterback. He's a little rusty at times and makes the easy play look so hard, but I still think the potential's there. And I think that's part of when you're judging these guys, you have to go off of somewhat of potential as well. So I definitely think that potential alone puts him at 4.
When you watch that game or the highlights or the tape from Saturday, did he looked uncomfortable? Philip Daniels was on. He thought his crew did a good job of keeping him uncomfortable, and Coach Mace made the right calls there. But from a quarterback and your quarterback eyes, what did you see from Nathan Rourke when he did look off and he missed guys high and he threw into coverage? What did you see there?
It just looked like confusion. I think Coach Mace did a great job of mixing up looks, allowing the DBs to kind of disguise coverage, pre-snap, and then rotating into a different coverage post-snap, and it confused Nathan a lot. So I would just limit that to confusion. I think the Riders threw some looks at him that he wasn't expecting, and that's just a part of being a good quarterback. You have to expect the unexpected, and I just don't think he was ready for that.
So throw us into your quarterback mind, and it kind of his best 2 plays of the night were when he had to escape pressure and roll out and makes a heck of a play, downfield for the 1 touchdown that we just saw the highlight of. But then you use the word confusion. Is there doubt come into the game maybe where you do see some of these things where he steps up and he overthrows a guy, and not overthrows a guy downfield, but out to the flats, a ball 3, feet over a guy's head? Is that just all kind of work from that confusion and being maybe a little bit unsure of being able to step forward and zip one on the numbers of your receiver?
Absolutely. Whenever you're confused and you're not confident, then it's hard to rip the ball and be able to be accurate with your placement. And, you could just tell early on, his feet were a little jittery back there. He wasn't really seeing the field as a top tier quarterback should. And I think that when you're not seeing the field well, you have to rely on your legs a little bit more in order to make big plays. And I think that's why you saw his biggest 2 plays of the game. They come from using your legs and breaking down the defense and then finding a guy as you're on a scramble drill. So when you're struggling, your biggest plays are going to come from scrambling and broken plays. That's the only way to make things happen when you aren't seeing the field too well.
And then on the contrary, what a flip of confidence that, BC starts with the ball. They hand the ball off twice, go 2 and out. The Riders punt to the Riders go downfield, score a touchdown, kick off, get the ball right back. I think that one ended up in a field goal. So Trevor's early in the game. He's feeling it. He's moving the ball. He's up 10 points. And by the time Nathan comes back onto the field, he's trailing. And then you're trying to find your game there. So it feels like Trevor's playing with a ton of confidence. And yeah, he's looked really, really sharp, especially coming off last week where he was fine numbers wise, but he felt like he really took over this game in my eyes. Their doubles.
Absolutely, and I think you have to give Coach Mueller, the offensive coordinator, so much credit in noticing from film that BC jumps a ton of intermediate routes. They had a great play on with a double move to Myers. Emulus had a deep ball. There were huge plays this week that you haven't seen that much in the past. So just a great job of taking advantage of the aggressiveness of the BC defense. And then once you can get a touchdown early and you're up 10. Now the defense feels that pressure. They're trying to make a play. And, you want to take advantage of that as an offense because they're going to get extra aggressive when they're down. And that was just made made it perfect for Trevor and this offense to take advantage of the big plays down the field.
Was there a play offensively that you were really impressed with, something that surprised you? You know, Harris going deep, the little dump off to AJ, I thought was a sexy looking play. Anything from your scope?
Yeah, I was just glad to see Trevor throw the ball downfield in the middle of the. You know, if you look at most of his big plays earlier in the season, they're deep balls on the sideline, having guys run by other guys, the DBs out there. So I was just impressed to see Trevor show his arm strength and turn the ball loose in the middle of the field and be able to hit those 22 to 25-yard throws across the middle. I'm not saying that I was sitting here questioning if he still had it, but it was just good to see him stretch the field throughout the middle and not necessarily attack the sidelines.
I really feel that the Riders receiving core is almost underrated. I'm not sure they get talked about enough. I find that during games, they find a way to get a lot of 50-50 balls. They battle for position when balls are coming to them, and then they run hard after they get it. Maybe talk about what this group has seen. They week in and week out, they have a different guy at the top of the receivers list. Having Kean Schaefer-Baker out, Emelis comes back, right? So it's a group to me that across the board can get the job done.
Absolutely. I think when you look at this group, there's not really a weakness in their game. Like if you come up and you try to pressure them, well, they all can beat you deep. And if you sit back, they all run intermediate routes very well. So I think the fact that they all do things well, it's very complimentary to Trevor. Now you can't key in on a certain guy as a defense. You have to respect the entire field. So with everyone out there being a threat to attack the DBs anywhere on the field, it just makes it easier for you as a play caller, and it makes it easier on Trevor to just pick and choose and go through his reads and make sure he finds the right guy.
And then, like you said, the play caller for Mark Mueller, right? It's like he's got the abundance of riches. It's like, okay, well, we're going to do this now. We're going to do that. And you've talked about it a number of times on here, and it's just football. You can keep teams guessing.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I thought that the threat of the deep ball was gone when Sean Bain was injured. He showed over the past couple of years that he's probably the number one deep threat out there. But the way Dante Myers has just stepped up this year and shown that he can do everything. And I think early on in the year, you see Trevor hitting him on slants and hitting him on in routes, and now he's attacking down the field. Every game can set up a different play for the next game, and you're waiting on that aggressive style defense so you can take advantage of these guys' skill set. So, showing the quick throws early on, the short throws early on this season is just opening it up for the deep balls down the field. So, hell of a job by Coach Mueller, just recognizing that this is the perfect team to set these double moves up against, and they work perfectly.
Robustelli.
Yeah,
you have some love to that guy. Like
absolutely.
Anybody that's kind of watched, you've seen him and all that. Okay, let's get to the running back situation. Doubles, and you never want to see it. You've probably seen it. You've been on the field when it happens. And RP mentioned too that he just a couple plays before, he sees Carey make a heck of a block, right? He just seemed like he was fitting in whatever they needed. Probably wasn't running the ball as much as people thought, but the blocking, and that is such an important thing. And then he goes down. Obviously, I'm sure you were gutted as well for him.
Absolutely, man. To see a guy, be released early in the season and then work his way into finding a roster spot and being able to dress. And then, you can tell he's picking up the system because he's in on crucial downs. He's picking up blitzes. He's doing everything right. So this is just devastating for Carey. I feel so bad for him. And, wish them the best. It's tough on running backs when they have leg injuries. And as you get up there in age, you really don't get the opportunities that you used to get when you're a little bit younger. So, I hope that everything works out well and, he can get as healthy as soon as possible.
Doubles, what's that feeling like on the field? I mean, we've seen these types of injuries from time to time. It's the reality of playing the sport. But what's that feeling like on the field that you see your teammate, your brother go down? Obviously, it doesn't look good. And then he hops off the field and you guys got to get right back in the huddle and go back to work. Is there things from a quarterback's perspective that maybe you used to say, or is the team just rallying together, or is it something that you just try and kind of blindly move on from?
I mean, of course, you say your prayers first and foremost, but you let the team know, like, let's do it for Kadeem. Let's make sure we go out there. We all know how hard he's worked to get to where he is now, the unfortunate situation he had in Toronto. So you go out there and you want to, put your game on the line and do everything you can to at least bring back the win for him. I mean, there would be nothing worse than to fly back after a loss knowing that one of your brothers went down with such a horrific injury. So you just want to get out there, and you have to forget it because it's such a gladiator sport, and you can't go out there and play tentatively. But of course, you keep it in the back of your mind that these things can happen, and you feel bad for them, but let's go out there and win the game for them as well.
All right, the tough question in the debate we've been having, and people have been texting in a lot. What would you do? And Luke brought in a good point and then you brought up a good point too, where you got guys on the neg list and all that. A lot of people are throwing out Walter Fletcher. A lot of people throwing out, including me, Frankie Hickson, who knows it. There was Mario Anderson, who was let go after camp. What would you do?
At this point in the season, you have to go with a vet. I think, AJ is one hit away from, the same type of situation. You hope that it doesn't happen, but you want a veteran guy in there. I'm sure Trevor would love a veteran guy beside him that can pick up these blitzes and these odd looks that some of these defenses may give you. So, I'm for building up a young guy, but at this point in the season, when you're playing well, I think you have to be a veteran.
Out of 100, odds that Andrew Harris could play a couple games?
I don't think he could. No, I don't think he could. Not at this point, man. I mean,
I asked you. You said you had a few plays left in you.
I know, but I don't have to run, right? It's different for a running back. I don't know, man. I mean, it depends. You know what? I don't know Andrew well enough to know how good of shape he keeps himself in. So don't let me answer that. But as a running back, and you haven't been training extensively for a long period of time, it's tough.
Oh yeah, it would be tough for sure.
Need him to play a few blocks.
That's right. Hey,
he has to run. The ball
last week we were sitting here after the Riders lost versus Calgary, talking about how difficult the West Division is going to be. Do you feel like your feelings have changed at all? Seeing it in now we're 7 games in. There's been a lot of lopsided games, and we felt like BC was going to be a threat. And again, it's just one game. I don't want to overstate it. But it feels to me like Calgary and Saskatchewan have really asserted themselves on top of this West Division, and the other teams at this point are chasing them.
Yeah, I would definitely put Calgary and Sask at the top of the league. A lot of people are looking at Winnipeg and kind of feel like they're out of it, but I wouldn't count them out, man. Whenever you're consistently playing for the championship year after year, I need to see a season where they either don't make the playoffs or get knocked out in the first round for me to say that they're done. So that's a veteran team over there. Of course, Zach, he's been dealing with getting banged up a lot, but it's just something about a team that has a championship pedigree that you just can't count out. So I definitely will put Calgary and Sask at the top, but I just cannot see a world where I don't include Winnipeg in that just because they've lost a couple games early on in the season.
Did you watch that? Did you have a chance to watch that Calgary-Winnipeg game?
Yes, I did.
Main takeaways from that?
I mean, Calgary is who we thought they were. I mean, this team is just playing outstanding football. That defense led by Baron Miles, the offense led by Dickey. I mean, I think you have to more so give Calgary the credit than say, Winnipeg didn't play well. I mean, when you're playing against a good football team and possibly the best football team in the league, I mean, no one really would play well against them. So I just want to see how the season progresses a little bit, see Winnipeg against some other teams, and then I can be the judge on them a little bit more. But right now, Calgary's the top dog, and they're playing like it each and every week.
It's not how it works, Doubles. We need answers now. You don't get to wait.
I know. But, I just try to come from a strictly football perspective here and maybe give fans a insight of it's not about feeling, right? It's about what goes on in between those lines. And Calgary is just beating up on everybody they're stepping on the field against right now. So, I don't want to discredit the teams that they're playing against until they play other teams. But right now, Calgary is just showing their dominance.
So many question marks too, with some quarterbacks being in and out, and we know that this is a heavily quarterback-driven league. So we start to see Davis Alexander now come back from injury, get a win. Now he's back on the 6-game injured list again. Zach questioning, what he'll be this week after him getting knocked out of the game there as well. So a lot of up in the air of teams. Just maybe we don't know what they are right now.
Exactly. It's so early in the season, right? And we used to have, as you know, RP, we had a saying in the locker room that the real season doesn't really begin until after Labor Day. You want to try to compound as many wins as you can earlier in the season, but you know exactly who you are after Labor Day. And I think we'll have a better picture of who these teams are, especially Montreal and Winnipeg, when they can get their quarterbacks back.
Who does young Damian Alford remind you of? There's a receiver, tall guy, out jumping everybody, just throw him up. Yeah, Curtis is doing the, what is it, Moose.
Yeah.
Does he remind you of anybody, Doubles?
Oh man, that's so tough. I can't recall a 6'6", 6'7" guy with that type of speed that I've ever seen in the CFL. I mean, I guess the closest guy would be a young S.J. Green, but SJ was more of your intermediate guy. He wasn't, beating you with speed down the field. So, this is kind of a unicorn situation, I think. I don't think I've seen a guy this tall with the ability to break down run routes, catch the 50-50 ball, just be able to do any and everything. So it's looking like he's going to be a special player.
We better enjoy him in the CFL while we
Absolutely.
can. So
definitely going to be shipped off somewhere. All right, what do you think about Edmonton coming in? Coach Mace didn't want to call it a trap game. He's like, professional football. Edmonton coming in last year, they came in 2-0. We were 3-0 when they came in, or whatever, and they beat us 4-0 last year. What do you see with Edmonton rolling in here with their revolving quarterback door a little bit?
I don't think Coach Mace will let this team sleep on Edmonton this year, especially coming off of a bye. They're going to have some trick plays. They're going to try to do some things differently with Trey Ford. But I don't think Coach Mace will let his team slip up and overlook this game. So, and as far as Edmonton goes, I really think that there'll be a quarterback change within the next couple weeks. I like Trey Ford as an athlete, but I just don't think that he has the talent around him, one, and the system, that allows him to thrive. So I don't think this will be a trap game at all. I think the Riders will come out ready to go, and I don't think it'll be close.
All right, we're playing SaskTel Pick the Score, and it's Monday, and we usually ask you, give us your score for this week.
I think it'll be a 35-20 game with the Riders. They take care of Edmonton pretty easily, I think, and I think we'll see Cody Fajardo in the second half for the Elks.
There we go. All right, Doubles. Thanks so much for doing this. Let's regroup on Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.